Alexa, we get a lot of calls about step-parent adoptions. What can you tell us about that?
That's a really broad topic, babe. Thanks a lot. So step-parent adoptions, usually, obviously, we're talking about a step-parent. So someone who has married one of the parents is seeking to adopt the child or minor children of the person that they married, right? Yep. When we're talking about, let's say, for example, that mom marries some other gentleman who is now the stepfather of the child, and stepfather wants to adopt mom's child as their own. It'll kind of depend on how you go about this if the parties, as in mom and biological dad, were married previously or if they were never married. So let's take, for example, they're never married. Mom has a child with a gentleman, they never marry, that gentleman never legitimates. So assuming we're in the state of Georgia and there's a requirement to legitimate to establish legal rights, they never legitimate. Yep. Okay, they're not on the birth certificate. There's really no documentation anywhere that says that this individual is the biological father of the child. So stepfather would file a petition in the Superior Court to seek to adopt the child. And mom, there's a lot of paperwork involved with a step-parent adoption. I'm not going to get into all the paperwork, but we would do what's called essentially a inquiry to the putative father's registry. You ever heard of that?
Yep.
Okay. So for those of us who haven't heard of it, the putative father's registry is basically the registry that unwed fathers would be listed on if they're on a birth certificate, but they're not married to the mother at the time. And not every father is on that registry because not every father is on the birth certificate.
Yep.
So if they're on the registry, there's certain requirements regarding service. If they're not on the registry, there's other requirements regarding service. Now, when I do a step-parent adoption, if they are or are not on the putative father's registry, I sort of treat it the same and attempt to make contact with that individual if we know who they are. So you also have to know who they are or where they are, too. And see if they'll agree to just surrender their rights. If they'll sign a surrender of rights, then we can move forward with the adoption pretty seamlessly. If they don't, then we've got to wait a certain time period and then seek a termination of rights with the court. So it gets a little complicated. There's a lot of paperwork that is involved. And then there's some other issues if you're talking about the parties were divorced, that father is just not involved.
So what it sounds like is there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to a step-parent adoption.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of paperwork.
Absolutely.